All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It. We are live on location in Florida here at Old Palm. Excited to be here, Harry. Great couple days so far.
Oh,
just getting warm.
You know, I'm not leaving, Moose. I'm here for the duration.
You're like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Right.
Well, we are joined by James and Nicholas. Welcome to Swing It and Ding It.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate
Excited
it.
to talk to you. What timing that we're down here and you're out here winning golf tournaments.
Yeah. Trying my best.
We saw when we walked up here, you had a couple people coming over congratulating you. Like, is that how cool of a feeling is that? And how long do you think that's going to last? Are you managing that?
Yeah, I think it's really nice to have 2 weeks off after the win, right? To kind of soak it in and not be playing round one of an event right now. I talked to my wife about it, and we were like, it'd be really interesting if we were flying on Monday to another event to then prepare for another golf tournament, because you know it's a lot, right? You get there on Monday, you go to the grocery store, you get there, be ready to go, and then you play practice rounds. But like you said, being here at Old Palm and having membership would congratulate me and seeing friends and family, and we're doing a celebratory dinner tomorrow night at my place. So to have like all of that here and to be able to celebrate it, I think is rare and something I'm grateful for.
It's all we talk about a lot on the show. Like, you know, someone wins a tournament and then boom, they're right back the next week. And we talk about it from with Bet Parks, our sponsor. It's like, what does that impact? Like, how's that? It must be incredibly difficult to get right back up to get right to it. You see some guys that just are in a groove and just play.
They don't want to take a week off.
Don't.
Yeah, when you're playing great golf, you're playing great golf.
Yeah.
That couple weeks built in is probably a pretty good position. Plus, you were in Colombia. It wasn't like you were in Florida playing. So there was that whole travel thing.
No, definitely. I think you hear Scotty Scheffler talk about all the time when he says, "Why do we play? Why do we do all this preparation, all this practice to win and celebrate for 20 seconds?"
Yeah.
So my wife and I, we actually went after doing interviews and signing autographs and whatnot. And, what Brandon actually experienced, the same deal. The kids in Colombia are awesome, but they ask for your shoes, your socks, your shirt, like they're all over you. But after that all settled, we went into the grandstand. We sat in 18 grandstand and just put our backs against the thing, and we just looked out and enjoyed it, and then we walked down 18 and took a walk and tried to enjoy it ourselves, and then to have, like you said, 2 weeks off after to enjoy even more. Like we went on a trip to Deer Valley last week with Icon Pass, and then we came here, and now we're celebrating with membership. I am ready to get back and start playing again, right? But it is nice to have those.
And you leave in 2 days on a 10-hour flight to Argentina to get back to it all again. But you said that you and your wife took that time, and I saw on social. It was cute, but Justin Leonard said that same thing. He said it was so crazy after his win. He actually went and laid down on the green, and his wife got pizza, and they went and ate dinner on the 18th green to celebrate and take that moment in. So that's pretty special. You guys will remember sitting in those grandstands and having these 2 weeks to kind of.
We said let's make it a tradition. Obviously, I need to win again to make it a tradition. But if I do, it's maybe finding that grandstand, finding that spot in the course that we can get away from everybody to enjoy it, together. And if there are any other my team members, right, my family, my strength coach, my swing coach, there, it's like embracing the people that have gotten me there, and not getting pulled to all the different media outlets and whatnot that are pulling in directions.
Now you won it on the 72nd hole with an eagle, right? But take us through those final couple holes. Were you a scoreboard watcher? Did you have any idea of where you were? And talk about your approach in this final couple holes.
So it starts on Thursday, right? I don't look at a leaderboard ever. I don't want to know. I found that in the past when I looked at the leaderboard, if I was near the lead, then I would feel like I had everything to lose and nothing to gain because I was already there. So I started telling myself, well, let me just imagine them 2 shots back at every single point starting on the first tee. So I imagine them 2 shots back, 2 shots back, 2 shots back, start the final round, and I have 1,000 people up the left, 1,000 people up the right, and a couple hundred people behind me on the first tee. So I kind of knew I was close to lead or in the lead, and looking back at the scores, I had the lead at that point. And you get the vibe, you get the gist of it, and you know where you are. But then I make a couple mistakes on the back 9, and I end up looking on 16T. So I look at the leaderboard for the first time, I see that I'm 1 shot back, and then Roman Zhang and Carson Young have both posted. Norman at 17, Carson at 16, and I was at 16, so I was in T2. And at that point, I'm not looking at the leaderboard being like I have everything to lose. I'm 1 shot back. It's almost a blessing in disguise having to chase rather than to get complacent and be like, I'm going to protect, because I think we play our best golf. I play my best golf when I'm chasing. And then I end up hitting a perfect drive down 16, make a 5-footer for birdie on 16, just missed birdie on 17, and then I've got this kind of, decision to either send driver up on 18 and take on the OB left, OB right with tons of trouble, but with the opportunity to hit one good tee shot and leave myself an 8-iron or 7-iron to win the tournament. And I was extremely nervous. It was a 20-minute wait on the tee because the group in front of me was making a mess of it. So I'm watching them, play ping pong and whatnot, and I'm looking to my right and I see, my friends come out and walk. Like Theo Humphrey came out to watch, Matt Anderson, and guys that were there came out to watch me on 18T, but I'm like, I don't even want to look at you, because it when you're in that moment and you create like these connections, you almost start getting more nervous because you feel like you might let somebody else down and you like have a mistake. I see my wife there, and I see that she's texting my family, like everybody back home. Like I got 4 younger siblings, and both my parents and uncles and aunts. And so I'm on that tee, but in my head, I'm like, you know what? On this range right here, I've put in countless hours just of hitting the same shot, imagining myself in that situation. And I told my wife the night before, I said, I just really want a 10-footer to win on the last hole. And she said I would throw up. And I was like, no, but that's, as a player, like that's what you want. Yeah. And, I hit an amazing tee shot. And then that's like the first thing. I actually have there's a picture of me going like this on the tee, because I didn't know if it got over the trees, because it's kind of like we did a high bomb and it's kind of missed a couple trees coming down, and it did, and it was in the middle of the fairway, hit a great shot in there, and as I'm walking up to the green, I start to notice how close it is, and I needed a 2-putt for the win, and I actually broke down in tears in the middle of the 18 fairway. So I hunched over, started crying, and my caddy came up to me and he started saying like, I'm so proud of you, like, and I'm like, whoa. I know it's most likely I'm going to win this tournament, but I don't want to like choke the putt or
ball's
like
gotta go in the hole.
Drop the putter off it. Like, it's like reset. So it's like resetting. But as I'm walking up to the green, I like pump the crowd up. I give them a little.
Saw those pictures.
Oh yeah, because it's like I've always been in a position where like when somebody had like a 2 or 3 shot lead going into 18 and they're gonna win, and they just kind of like tap it in things like. It's one of the coolest
Sports
feelings
and
in the world,
entertainment.
right?
It's what you've worked your whole life for.
It's so cool. Like, there's so many, like, the coolest thing, Tiger Woods, like, fist pumping when he wins. Like, that is the emotion that I want to show when I'm in those positions. And to be able to, like, make the last putt and have the raw emotion just, like, pour out, it was so cool. It was so cool.
Well, we talk a lot about the golf journey on this show, and you have a very interesting journey, right? You're from New York, family was in sports, played a lot of different sports. I'm a hockey player. You look like a hockey player
Yep.
to me more than
Hockey
a
player. I'm
great
still
lettuce,
probably better.
great
Yeah,
lettuce and
that's
everything,
right. That's right.
Played football at Yale too. Talk about that journey, about when you were playing these different sports and how eventually golf just was what you were going to do, and that's the path you were going to take.
Yeah, I'm fortunate to grow up in the Met section in New York. I know, the Gap section is also very good, but I like to put the Met section up against you guys and think that we've, some of the best golf courses in the world and best opportunities in the world. And to grow up just playing summer golf for fun was how it started. But I was a hockey player, a football player, played lacrosse and baseball and soccer and whatnot. I was on the swim and dive team, right? Like my brother won like county diver of the year. Like we just played everything. And my parents were glorified Uber drivers. But I think that's what's really important is like developing yourself as an athlete. When you see all these guys that are just great golfers, but they were also good basketball players or good football players and hockey. Some sports translates better to golf than others. Hockey being one of them. I haven't met a hockey player that's bad at golf. There's so many good golfers out there. I guess we haven't played yet, so we'll have to see how that goes. I'm not gonna give you too many shots to know how it works. But then I got to Yale. I had an opportunity to play football, hockey, and golf, and that was when I was recruited there. We won the national championship in hockey in 2015, and I had this opportunity to either play only hockey or football and golf. Part of me wanted to take a gap year to, develop as a hockey player, because that's what most hockey players do, but I decided to go to Yale to play football and golf. And the way that my family structured it or thought about it was you have this opportunity to go to grade school, athletics, you don't know about injuries, you don't know what might happen, so take that opportunity and then develop while you're there. If you don't like football and golf, you can always just go play hockey. And I ended up not liking football, transitioned into golf, And then I had all this free time in my hands because, like I said before, I was playing swim team, dive team, soccer. Like I was just doing everything nonstop. But now I was sitting at university when you take 2 classes a day, and then like, what do I do with my life, right? So I just poured every single ounce of free time into golf. We had an indoor facility, and I did 10 hours a day every single day for 3 years, starting my sophomore year to my senior year, on top of being pre-med. So it was a 2 to 4 hour nightly sleep schedule. But I was a little bit of a psychopath. My nickname on the golf team was Turbo. And for better or for worse, I wasn't the most social guy, but I told myself I want to see how good I can get. And then, that whole journey is what led to, this athletic kid who can play other sports, but also swing a golf club decently. And then now it's like we're fine.
It teaches people how to win. We talk about it all the time. That's why I love, Brandon. You see a lot of people that are very good at golf and they play great, but they don't know how to win. They don't know how to close out a tournament, right? And from your experience playing different sports and having to win, being on the ice with 25 seconds up or down a goal, having that kind of mentality, I think, is I would love to see more people have that balance, right? But you're seeing now, especially young kids, they're getting kind of pigeonholed into one sport only, and it's not developing that whole aspect.
Well, the thing with golf is that, how often do you win? Right, the winningest stats, you never, Scotty Scheffler is a 14.6% winning rate, I think it was. I saw some video today where it said if he won the next 14 events, he would still be shy of Tiger Woods' 23%, whatever it might be, which is crazy. But then if you go down 4 spots, the next best or most winningest is Jason Day at 4%. And we're talking about one of the best golfers of all time, winning 4% of the time. But in hockey and in football and in lacrosse, if you're on a decent team, you're winning 85, 90% of the time, right? So you learn how to, maybe score that overtime goal, or you score the game-winning goal-ahead touchdown, or this or that. And it's that feeling, it's that rush, it's that adrenaline that when you do put yourself in that spot in the golf tournament, I had felt that before. Maybe not in golf, but I've been able to draw from my past experiences to calm myself. I mean, Brandon was talking about how he actually slows his heart rate when he's in those positions. Mine goes through the roof, so I don't know how he does that, but everybody's different, right? And you draw from your past experiences.
Yeah, that's great. I was going to ask if you work with a mental coach or what your experience is, and you just seem so calm and relaxed. It was once described to me that stepping up on the first tee is like you're standing there and your feet are in cement and the tiger's chasing after you. That's how the rush is.
True, actually.
Rush is.
Yeah.
And, to deal or to step up to a tee box and, like you said, knowing you may not win every week and you're going to lose more so than you're not. And for you to be in that position and just kind of compartmentalize and kind of see your path and to even afterwards take time to enjoy that. Is that all from your sports growing up?
Being where your feet are. But I do have a mental coach, Dr. Joe Parent. I worked with Brian Kane. So when I was playing college football, we had a performance coach his name was Brian Kane. And I learned time management, time blocking, how to visualization techniques. And he made it was a 5-minute meditation where I would close my eyes and he would take me through what it's like to win. So from start to finish, what does it feel like with the wind on your face, literally thinking about all the senses, hearing it, seeing it, what is it, what do you see yourself doing, and that definitely helps. And now I work with Dr. Joe Parent, who is more golf focused, and it's interesting. On the first tee, you talk about because you have a tee time where you can't start until it's your time, so you're standing there thinking, looking, you're like a cage tiger, you don't know where to go. And I feel in the past, what I would do is I would rush shots just to get away from the moment. And I told myself this week specifically that I was going to treat every single shot. Our mantra was being thorough. Every single shot like it was the shot to win the tournament. So starting on Thursday, the first tee shot until Sunday, the last putt, every shot, which does have the same weight to it, I actually gave it the same weight rather than waiting to the end to be this is the shot, So I think that practice throughout the week also helped me in those specific situations.
Yeah, I had to come in handy on that final hole too, having to wait.
Oh yeah, waiting. I was actually pacing back and forth. It was terrible. To drive, if you hit a good drive, you're waiting there. So people are waiting there in the fairway, and I'm looking and
knowing where you're at.
Where you're at, knowing that I need. So I told my caddies that we could have hit a 4-iron, then a wedge, and then a wedge, and had a putt to win. But I get to drive and have 2 putts to win, right?
That's funny.
So
you know what your wife's doing. You know she's texting your family too. Like you know that. Like you know
She's
everything
freaking
has
out.
happened.
And I'm looking around now. I see and thankfully all my social media stuff. Like I have a ton of fans out there. And not that I knew in the moment, but after the fact, my wife was like, all these people coming up to me, being like, we really want James to win, we really want James to win. We follow him, this and that. And then knowing that I had this connection, not a personal connection to everybody in the crowd, but this connection through social media, and they knew who I was, it could make you nervous because it's almost easier if nobody knows who you are to then excel or fail because there's no consequence. But if people know who you are, and you put weight on the failure, and then you know that they might DM me like, hey, it's okay, and like, I don't want pity, I don't want like the comfort.
We still don't.
But it's that
Or
much
the opposite, I
sweeter
have
when
money
you
on
win.
you, and
Yeah, but it's that much sweeter when you win, and then you have everybody be like, let's like effing go, this is so sick. So that's the pros and
Wait,
cons.
when you saw that 10-footer though, where you're like, okay, this is sealed, like this is what I
I started crying.
visualized. Like,
Yeah, I started crying in the fairway. I literally, there's a gap of water, and I got there and I was like, that's not 3-puttable, right? Like, I started hysterically crying because as a kid, all I can remember is being on putting greens, being like, I had a 10-footer to win a tournament. Usually I say the U.S. Open, but this is my first experience of winning a tournament, and it's like I had a 10-footer to win. And I never really thought I had 2 putts to win, right? But like, and that gave me a little more comfort. But that's why I broke down in tears because there's been so many people in my corner who've sacrificed so much, including myself. Right? I sacrificed, like you see firsthand. It's like you sacrifice so many things to be able to have these small moments in your career that make it worthwhile. And I had dinner with a buddy of mine, and we started talking about like, is it worth it? Like for everybody, it's a different answer. For me, I said when I played the U.S. Open last year, and I made the cut, and I got to celebrate with all my friends who drove to Oakmont to play with me and hang out with me. Like I would do like anything is worth it for that moment to relive that again. And then this was tenfold. So for me, the answer is absolutely yes.
Well, having played all these different sports, now doing golf, what is it you love most about golf?
So the reason why I started playing golf was because it's I wouldn't say the one sport, but it was the sport that came hardest to me. I didn't just show up to the range one day and I was good at it. Like it took a lot of work. Hockey, I feel like I got to a point where I was very, very good. Football, I was very, very good. These other sports, I was very good. When I went on the swim team, I would swim a 30-second 50 meter, which again, I was very young when I did it. That's not that impressive, but like that was my time. Or if I went about a mile, it was 5:15 was like my time. Like I was pretty fast. And golf, I could shoot 65 and then 90. And that difference is what drew me to the game. And number one, right? Like having the day-to-day be so different and be like, what's going on? Like how can I like have it figured out, and then the next day be like, I want to quit, I never want to touch a club again. And that like is like the addiction of golf. And then on top of the people you're able to meet, the connections you're able to make, the places you're able to see. It's outdoor sport, you play in nature, and I'm very spiritual in regards to nature. I draw my energy from nature, so that's another piece of it as well.
Well, there's a lot to draw on here. Oh
Yeah.
For sure.
Talk about Old Palm.
I mean, Old Palm and the ambassador program here has been incredible. I mean, they're letting us obviously do this here, and you can see some of the amazing facilities they have in the background, and to have people that have backed you. Right in New York, I've got places like Deepdale and Westchester Country Club who would give me practice villages, and down here having Old Palm and the ambassador program. It's what it's all about. Saw Marco Penge talk about it at I don't know where he was at, Waste Management, I think was his first event, so he was talking about it, but there's all these places, and the few that give you access, and the few that give you the support, and the few that make you feel valued and have worth, is what gives you that extra motivation to go and play and compete and perform at your highest level.
Well, you mentioned the social side of things. Talk about that. Obviously, you have a great presence out there, YouTube. How much of that was kind of intentional of going that route, and then what's that like for you? And how do you manage kind of both sides of playing professionally and also?
Yeah, so I actually started making videos when I was 10 years old or 11 years old. I got my first GoPro Hero 1 at Christmas, and I was just a skateboarder, surfer. I would bring it around and make these cool videos with my brothers, and we'd be like longboarding, and it was cool. And when I moved, we had to edit it up, and then fast forward 3 or 4 years, I was 14, 15 years old, freshman in high school, and I made a travel video in Iceland, and it went absolutely viral. Got 1 million views on YouTube. And then all these brands started emailing me, hey, can we send you some product? You don't have to do anything about it, just wear it in your next video. And as a 14, 15-year-old kid, I'm like, this isn't I'm getting free stuff. Like whether it be socks or hats or a pullover. And that's actually how I got involved with Grayson, the golf clothing company. My friend Christian Cavaliero, who runs a head cover leather goods company, reached out and was like, hey, can we get a discount code for free gear? And I was like, let me hop in on that. And we ended up meeting Charlie. And Charlie's the owner and founder of Grayson. When we got there, I was like, oh, hey, we make videos. We make these cool videos. Can we make some videos for you? And we ended up doing that. Then we got free product in exchange for videos. So now I'm learning, okay, if I make content, I get free stuff. Little did I know what it would lead to today, but then, I got to college, started making more and more videos, working with brands like Callaway and OGO and some really cool, high-level brands and starting to get paid for it. Luckily my parents were paying for my college, so I didn't have to put myself through college like a lot of people do. So yeah, that was just money that went into my bank account, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
And I got to use it for fun things and whatnot. And then the day I turned pro, I said, okay, I'm gonna take this travel video Instagram that I have, this creative Instagram, and I'm gonna just turn it into a golf focused one because this is now my career, and I'm gonna see if I can leverage it. At that point, I didn't know if I was going to get status. I didn't know what I was going to be or do, but I knew that if I had this presence, it might help me. And I went to Q school, got my Korn Ferry tour card, and that just went hand in hand with my Instagram. I started documenting the Korn Ferry tour lifestyle, the journey of being a pro golfer, and people, one viral story after the next, whether they're showing up late to my tee time, or not really late, but as people think it happened.
Yeah.
And then, or, qualifying for the US Open or winning, it's like just growing this fan base. And it's turned into this, I'm a very motivational, inspirational guy on there. And I try to set this, I don't want to say standard for young kids, but the fact that you can achieve anything. When I was a kid, I would DM pro golfers and be like, hey, what were you shooting when you were 14, 15 years old? They didn't post, they didn't respond.
Yeah.
But when these kids ask me, I try to give them the answers and be like, hey man, it doesn't really matter what you're shooting right now. If you work hard enough, you can achieve it. And to be able to do that and grow my brand and help my sponsors out and all these different layers of social media, it's been really cool.
Which is also my favorite part of your social is before I even knew you that I got onto. And I say this all the time on the podcast because these guys know way more about golf than me, but I have that insider, kind of approach from being with Brandon. And when I say, oh, my husband plays golf, I'm like, oh, that's insane. You guys just are on jet all the time, this and that. And I'm like, I work for the Orlando Magic. So I'm like, I've experienced professional sports being on the team jet, traveling in a team hotel, all the meals, accommodations, everything paid for. So when I saw him, this kid is breaking down how much it costs, how much they make, how much he has to pay his caddy, whether he makes a cut or not. I'm like, this is what I try to tell everybody. So I'm probably responsible for sending your videos.
I love that.
Everybody.
Keep them coming.
So talk about that for our listeners. Just if I haven't pushed it enough on this show,
I appreciate that.
about
Thank you.
professional golf and the expenses and what you guys have to do each week and kind of the breakdown.
Oh yeah, I started doing that maybe 2 or 3 years ago, just on what does it cost to play pro golf? Because there's questions that I got in my DMs. People would be like, how do you find sponsors? How do you pay for it all? Yada yada yada. And I was lucky enough to have status, so that means I can play in events and make money. But if you're out there just chasing, you don't have that income coming in unless you have sponsors. So when I did post that first one, and I was like, I finished 35th or whatever it was, and it was like a break even. I'm sure I got a paycheck for $4,500, but you had the caddy, the rental car, the Airbnb, groceries, flights, and then you got other things, miscellaneous things. And baggage fees, if you're over 50 pounds, you don't have good status. It costs another $100.
Right.
So it adds up, and then people are like, oh, so it's not that glamorous to be a Korn Ferry golfer. I'm like,
say
no, there's no PJs, you're not going flying private everywhere. The Netflix documentary shows with Spieth and Justin Thomas and those guys. If you win 5 majors and 20 tournaments, you have a little extra cash. You have that NetJet sponsor, and you're good to go with hours on private jets. But now, being able to show what I made in the US Open, okay, I made some real money. What I made for the win, I made some real money. But it's the constant reinvestment in your health. So, if you didn't have a GC quad or a TrackMan, maybe it's using that money to buy a TrackMan and GC quad because it's going to help you then win more down the road. It's a constant investment. Like Justin Rose, I saw has his health and wellness trailer that follows him around, which that's
Did you
something that I
see
would
his
want to
lineup
have.
of what he does?
That's amazing.
And like,
It's amazing. Like, that's one thing.
disciplined man.
When I'm home, I have access to, like, Old Palm here has, like, a nice bath and a sauna and a steam room. But when you're on the road, to have a fitness trailer follow you around, he had to invest a lot of money. But he's played really well, and he continues to play well. So it's that reinvestment into his own health and wellness and well-being. But yeah, like, my sponsors here that you guys are seeing, and like, that's what makes it possible. That's what makes everything possible. Like, for your podcast, I'm sure there's like people helping you guys out and like sponsoring it, but in return, you're getting their NIL out there, their logo out there, and it's this like, I'll help you, you help me. And when I did win, I felt like this huge gratification for them as well, because gratification might not be the right word, I think it is, but Icon Pass, like, or Protivity or Pepe Auto Group, they finally got to like celebrate with me.
It's a team.
Right?
Yeah.
Team. Like Joe Pepe is a member here at Old Palm, and we went out and played last week and celebrated a win together.
Yeah.
And he's been there every single year, from the start, whether I had status or not. He was always in my corner. And then to have like the Jones guys and the Grayson, and the name goes, the list is this long. People supported me, but then having that like carrot or that punch makes you feel valued and validated that like people support.
I didn't ask you one thing. What was your purchase? Did you get a quad, or what was your big purchase
No,
after you got
literally
that check?
nothing yet.
Nothing
We're
yet?
actually, my wife and I are trying to like buy furniture for the house, and she's the one.
So a bed first, and then the quad
She's
after.
buying a nice little dining room table right now. So,
Yeah.
and I didn't know how expensive couches and dining room tables are.
Silly.
So
Yeah.
we actually on our honeymoon we had all of our stuff stolen. So we like were replacing things, like all my camera gear got stolen, my drone, my like.
Where were you?
We're in Italy, in Rome. So it was a pretty tough. The end of the year. So we got married, then we went on a honeymoon, and then the year started, and it was a lot of money and stuff, like all
And
our
the gear's
jewelry,
expensive.
wedding earrings, like. So yeah, the gear, like the camera gear, is expensive, but I think it's like, okay, let's figure out where we want to spend the money now.
Yeah.
So we're working through
Sometimes
that.
experiences like that will help you at least, moving forward and take a look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting year.
Yeah.
A lot of things happening.
Now the PGA Tour is out of Riviera Country Club this
Yep.
weekend. I know you've got some experience there, some good vibes.
Great vibes.
Playing out there, talking about it.
Riviera is one of the coolest tracks in the world. If you look at it, it's like this little ravine in the middle of LA. And I played my first US Amateur there. I qualified, and then I ended up making match play, and that's what gave me my first Swagger, or World Amateur Golf ranking. And that was like a big event for me, because I was this football kid who was trying to play golf, and everybody knew me as this like, okay, he's a good athlete. But that was my first time that I was able to, like, hey, I'm here. I'm a golfer. And it's a special place. You hit that first tee shot down, and then once you get down there, you're in this cool course with huge trees and perfect POA greens. Like, I love that type of golf. It feels like New York.
Trees and stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. They got that Kikuya grass. Like, it is interesting. I saw in the US Amateur, I was watching Robert McIntyre versus Cameron Young. After I lost my first match, I went out to watch Cameron. And Cameron tried to hit a little bump and run into the Kikuya, and it just like stopped. It was the first time I've ever seen that happen.
Wow.
Because going from New York, it usually skips up and then rolls out. But there's a lot of different variables you gotta look out for.
Play with Cameron in your.
Yeah, we grew up playing together. I was, again, getting just lapped by him as a kid. Like, I played an interclub match with him, and he shot 64, and I shot 76 or something at age 12. And I was like, I shot 76, let's go. And
Yeah.
got lapped.
Yeah.
And then we started playing Met Opens and whatnot, and I started holding my own. And obviously, Cameron has had some success a lot of success, top 50 player in the world, top 20, I think now. But yeah, Cameron, Chris Gotterup, Max Grazerman, Ryan McCormick. There's so many good guys from the Met section. And we're not even going into Jersey, Pennsylvania. It's like there's so many good players that come from Northeast that people don't know. Not that they don't know about, but don't recognize.
Well, we appreciate your time. We know you have a family celebratory dinner tonight. You gotta get over to Argentina, but I never let anybody go without talking about the Gap, talking about our Philadelphia courses. What have you played? What is your favorite?
Let's see. So I played Stonewall during a hockey tournament when I was a kid.
Great logo too.
Yeah, great logo. And my dad and I, we used the Outpost Club to get connections on there, and we ended up playing. And this was before Stu on the man there. I played there, and I was like, this place is a gem. Philly Cricket, amazing. I played Rolling Green, which has got some crazy greens, like, and just this nuance, like Gulf Mills,
Oh, wow.
Ronamink, Marion.
Well, you played them all.
what's the favorite?
Going to Yale has its perks. So I will say that you
Pine
get.
Valley.
I play Pine Valley, but that's Jersey.
We
But we
claim
consider
that.
it.
That's
part
true.
of
You
the
should
gap.
itself. It's not Met. That's for sure.
It's in the gap. So.
TV's great. Marion was the coolest course I played.
Oh, yeah.
To have a course that's not 7,600 and play so tough is rare. So to be able to like go there, my favorite. I'm probably forgetting a few. I mean, I played a few IJGTs like Hershey Country Club and those little courses around there. So some good ones, but Marion's special.
Yeah.
Pine Valley. I don't want to say the number one course in the world. You can't say that.
No,
So
but this is
there
great.
is-
Probably our most impressive answer so far.
Yeah.
You're well versed.
I'm well versed in the gap. Yeah, I'm well versed in the
That
gap.
Yale golf course is pretty good too.
And they're doing a $30 million Gil Hanse renovation,
Yeah, right.
restoration.
What is Gil not doing right now?
I know.
I actually, when I played Oakmont. Oh wait,
Yeah.
Oakmont. Is Oakmont Gap or no?
No, that's Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah,
But yeah, I wanted
Stadium,
to
but-
get your thoughts on
Oakmont's
Oakmont.
Oakmont's.
I played it in Evan 2 years ago, and it's you can't even describe it. It just is.
I think visually of the tee is easier in the US Open because there's so many towers to aim at. I can't imagine like aiming at what that piece of grass.
Yeah.
Like
Is it different trees?
there's no trees. But yeah, I mean Philly golf is not Philly, but Gap golf,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania golf is so
Have you
good.
played Country Club Experience?
I have not. My brother went to F&M. He said like Lancaster Country Club is
Yes.
amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So he sent me some videos there, and I'm like, ooh, that place looks nice.
I'll have to get you up for the NEPA for.
I know it's never worked out, and I really want to play.
Yeah.
We did. Brandon and I filmed the YouTube video, and we did a little birdie game for a little donation. I think I made 7 birdies, so we donated $700 to the organization.
amazing.
Yeah, so
Thank
that was
you.
cool. So hopefully I can go win that back in the event this year.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Appreciate
much
your
for
time.
joining us.
Of course, guys.
We know you have a busy road ahead and more tournaments to win, so we'll be rooting for you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on Swinging.